So today I wanted to share with you all a very well-known urban legend in Japan. It's one of those stories that I was told as a kid so that I would just come home straight because I would be terrified of it. So this story is about KUCHISAKEONNA. KUCHISAKEONNA basically translates to the woman with the gaping ripped mouth. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Elisa and I am a psychic medium and energy worker from Japan, and I specialize in Japanese conjure. I was inspired to talk about this urban legend because recently I have watched a random TikTok video that one of my friends sent me about this urban legend, and I don't know if I really resonated with the version that they told, so I kind of was like, you know what, why not share my version, the one I grew up with and the things I know about it. So the legend of KUCHISAKEONNA goes like this. So there's a woman who's known to be really pretty. Like, she'll be walking down the street, usually in a crowded area like in the city, and she's known to have long black beautiful hair, beautiful eyes, and wearing a trench coat as well, but her mouth is covered with a mask. So she'll just be wandering around and approach a random person, usually like a man, or sometimes even children, right? And she'll ask the person if they think that she's pretty. And the person usually will say, oh yes, because she does look really pretty. And then she'll take off her mask and you'll see that her mouth is just like ripped from ear to ear, like cut, and it's all gnarly and stuff. And then she'll ask, even now? And the person usually freaks out and doesn't know what to say, and that's when the KUCHISAKEONNA attacks you, okay? And usually she's known to be carrying a weapon. Sometimes they say it's like a doctor's scalpel, knife. Really well-known weapon is, I don't even know what you call it in English. It's called a kama in Japanese. So maybe it's like a rake, but those sharp ones that look like the short version of what the Grim Reaper carries around, super deadly and sharp. So they say that she's holding that, and also that she's like super fast at like chasing you and stuff, so you can't really get away from her. But don't worry, there is actually a way to save yourself. So when she takes off her mask, you can't say, oh no, you're not pretty, or you're average, because then she'll get like really pissed and like kill you on the spot. But what you have to do is, one, you can say, oh my god, you're so hot. You're supposed to actually really compliment her, and that just throws her off and actually makes her blush, apparently. So when that happens, it kind of startles her, and that's when you just run for dear life. That's one legend. And then the other one is that you say dog. In Japanese, you say inu. So you say it 3 times, inu, 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 or you can say dog, dog, dog. And that's supposed to scare her a lot. And then that's when you can get away. One of the features of KUCHISAKEONNA is that she kind of has like fox eyes, like the literal animal. And also she sounds like a cat when she speaks, like her tone of the voice. So perhaps that's why there's this rumor that says if you say dog, because cats and dogs apparently don't get along stereotypically, so when you say that, it's supposed to scare her away. And also there's another way to scare her off with the energy of dog, which is you write it down on your palm 3 times. So for dog, or inu in Japanese, there is a kanji for a Japanese character, so you write it down on your palm 3 times and then you show it to her, and then it kind of scares her away and you're safe. It's basically you're drawing a sigil in your hand, you're empowering it, and then you're just basically banishing evil with that. I was always told to say dog 3 times and that should scare away the KUCHISAKEONNA. Let's talk about like how this urban legend became so well known, what maybe like the origin of it. So in the TikTok video, they were talking about how this woman was married to a samurai. I think she was unfaithful, that made the samurai jealous, and then he cut her mouth with scissors or something like that. I have like never ever heard of that story, but let me share my version of the origin of KUCHISAKEONNA, which actually mixes with a lot of truth, stuff that went on in Japan that really mixed in with the story that turned it into an urban legend. So let's go back to the Edo period, because that is probably where the rumor actually started about KUCHISAKEONNA, or like the origin of it.
So there's an area in Japan called Gifu Prefecture. One of the first sightings of the KUCHISAKEONNA originated from this prefecture back in the Edo period, and a lot of people believed that the KUCHISAKEONNA was a manifestation of all the negative energy that was accumulated in this specific area, and all the peasants that were captured and executed there. So in Japan, we believe that strong emotions, thought forms, residual energy in a specific place or location can actually give birth to spirit, things like supernatural beings. So I just wanted to squeeze that information in there so that it makes more sense, like why people would think that all that accumulated energy can, conjure up this KUCHISAKEONNA. Let's move forward to the Meiji period and take a look at this different area in Japan called the Shiga Prefecture. So there's actually historical records stating that there was a woman named Otsuya that had a lover in a different village, and she would have to cross the woods in order to get to him. So since it was dangerous for women to be traveling all by themselves in the forest, especially during nighttime, Otsuya decides to dress up kind of crazy. So she dressed up in all white and also painted her face all white as well, so she looks like super pale. And she also put candlesticks on her head, and she also carved out a carrot in the shape of a crescent moon, and she put it in her mouth so it would look like fangs, and she would hold around the sickle for protection and also, I guess, like as a scary weapon as well, and that is how she traveled through the forest to meet her lover. So there's speculation that the idea of Kuchisakeonna, or how she may look like and the weapon that she carries around, may have originated from Otsuya. So what's really interesting about the outfit Otsuya wore is that it resembles the outfit somebody who would perform black magic would wear. So it really does make sense how people may have feared her, or the appearance of, somebody dressed up like that if they randomly bumped into them. A funny fact about this is that Otsuya was kind of a trendsetter in the sense that there were actually a lot of people who were in long distance relationships, and women would actually dress up this way so that they can cross the forest safely to meet their lovers. Another rumor about the origin of the Kuchisakeonna is connected to a bus accident that took place in 1968 in Gifu Prefecture. The accident took place by the rivers, and when the police searched the area, they found the remains of a woman's skull, and the skull was just disfigured, and apparently it was just sliced from ear to ear. So people believe that the origin of the Kuchisakeonna is the ghost of this woman. The story about Kuchisakeonna just went completely viral, especially in the 1970s, because there were two real cases. There was a mentally ill woman who was confined in her home that escaped, and she had this crazy makeup on where her lipstick was just like covering her face like ear to ear, and she was just roaming around the streets at nighttime, and a random person spotted her and completely freaked out and thought she was the urban legend Kuchisakeonna. And there's this other case where there was a woman in her mid-20s that would dress up in her trench coat and wear a mask and would just roam around and pretend to be the Kuchisakeonna and scare random people on the streets. She eventually got caught by the police and arrested.
So I hope you enjoyed this. Kuchisakeonna don't like dogs, so don't worry after watching this video if you're creeped out. If you have dogs, you're fine. They'll protect you. If not, make sure you remember to write the sigil on your hand 3 times or say it out loud 3 times, inu, 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 and you'll be safe.